Hi, boys and girls. Yesterday, we worked on a T-chart and using our schema and thinking about a book, right? And on the T-chart, we talked about things we already knew and then things that we learned after we got done reading the book. Well, today we're adding a middle column. This is called a Kwl chart, and if you haven't ever seen one before, you're going to see a lot throughout school. The K stands for what you already know. We talked about that yesterday in our T-chart, what you already know. And then we talked about, well, this is new. The W is what you want to learn. So this is where you have to kind of think about what you might want to learn about the topic before you start reading. Both of these two things happen before you start reading the book. And then what you learned goes over here in the end. And some of the things you learned might be from what you want to learn, and some might not be. But the reason we do the W is because it makes you think about what you're looking for, like what answers you want to find from reading. So it makes you look a little closer while you're reading the book. So it's kind of good to do the W part also. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do it today. I'm going to use a book. Yesterday we talked about volcanoes, so I thought today we could talk about a different natural disaster. This one is earthquakes. All right, so I'm not even going to open the book yet. I'm just thinking, what do I know about earthquakes? So that's what I'm going to put in my K side, and I'm going to try to put at least 3 things. What do I know about earthquakes? I know they shake the ground. Okay. I know that because of the ground shaking that it can like destroy buildings. They can knock them down. So I'll say breaks buildings. I also know that they are dangerous, like they can hurt people. So I'm going to write that down here. I don't know if you can see quite that far down. Dangerous. So we know they break buildings, but they're also dangerous, so they could kind of hurt people. I'll scoot that back a little bit, see if you can kind of see dangerous, kind of. Okay, so I still haven't even opened the book yet. This is what I already know, using my schema, right, the stuff that I know. And now I'm going to think differently. What do I want to learn about earthquakes? Well, since they're dangerous and they can break buildings, I kind of want to know if they can happen here in Kearney. Like, can they? So I'm going to kind of ask a question. Can they happen here? What makes them happen? So here, what I want to know, I'm kind of asking questions, aren't I? Yeah, we're good at asking questions. We've done that a lot. Okay, can they happen here? What makes them happen? How about how big can they get? Like, you know, how big can an earthquake get? Can it get like big enough that it like destroys a whole town? That's kind of a question. How big can they get? How big can they get? So that's my question there. How big can they get? Okay. So now I'm going to actually read the book, and I probably won't read the whole book, but just part of it. And I'm going to think about what I'm learning from the book. Okay. So here we go. Earthquakes. Did you know the ground we stand on is moving all the time? No, I don't think I knew that. So I could add that to the learned column here in a minute. Usually it moves as slowly as your fingernails grow. Wow, that's slow. It moves so slowly, the ground seems to be perfectly still. Sometimes, though, the ground moves suddenly, and then the movement is called an earthquake. So I do think I want to write that down because they talked about that for like 3 pages. So for what they learned, or what I learned, I'm going to say that the ground is always moving. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Okay, let's keep going. How can the solid ground quake? Let us look at the way our world is made. The earth is round like a ball. Deep inside the earth is a core. The inside of the core is very hot, solid metal. The outside of the core is hot, liquid metal. The next layer is called the mantle. The mantle is hot too. It is hot enough for rocks to ooze like caramel. On top of the hot rocks lies the crust. We live on the crust. Okay, well, I learned a whole bunch of stuff there. I did not know that the earth has metal inside of it. So I'm going to write that down. Earth has metal in it. I did not know that, right? That's what it said, right? Let's go back and look. Good readers go back and look sometimes. Yep, metal. Okay, here we go. The crust is broken into plates that fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. The plates float on the hot, oozing rocks. Because the plates float, the pieces of the puzzle push against one another or pull apart. So the ground kind of is floating on oozing rocks. That's crazy. I didn't know that either, so I'll write that. The ground floats on oozing rocks. Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not totally done with my book, but I got at least 3 things on each part of my KWL chart. Did I answer the question of what or can they happen here? No, not yet, but I bet if I kept reading, I might find that. What about what makes them happen? I think I was getting close to that answer. And how big can they get? I didn't get there yet either. But if I kept reading, I bet I would find that answer. All right? So you're going to have a book assigned to you also, where you're going to mark down what you know about that topic and then what you want to know about that topic before you start reading. And then you'll fill in what you learned. You can record yourself talking about it, or you can write about it, just like I did. Okay? Have fun.